Welcome, everyone. It is a pleasure to be here and discuss this important topic. We are going to focus on biomolecules, specifically proteins and polysaccharides, and their roles in human health. We will explore examples of proteins, their functions, polysaccharides, and differences between homopolymers and heteropolymers. Let us begin. Biomolecules are essential for the proper functioning of living organisms. Proteins and polysaccharides are two of the most important biomolecules. Proteins contain nitrogen, carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen, and they are usually found in muscle cells, cell membranes, and also as enzymes and hormones. They have a complex three-dimensional structure. On the other hand, polysaccharides are a type of carbohydrate made up of repeating units of monosaccharides. They are used for energy sources, making up cell walls, and for storing energy reserves. Both proteins and polysaccharides are essential for the healthy functioning of living organisms. Proteins are crucial macromolecules for life activities in all living organisms. Composed of linear chains of amino acids, linked by peptide bonds, proteins display a broad range of functions. Apart from serving structural and catalytic roles, proteins can also operate as hormones, receptors, transportation molecules, and more. This slide displays a diagram of the structure of a peptide bond, pointing out the connections between the two molecules. Biomolecules are essential for life, present in all forms from plants to single-cell organisms and even bacteria. Among them, amino acids are particularly important, ranging from 20 different varieties. Each protein is a polymer formed of different types of monomers, which distinguishes it from homopolymers whose molecules are identical. For a comprehensive comprehension of life, it is thus key to understand the complexity of biomolecules. Amino acids are the fundamental components of proteins and constitute a major part of our diets. There are two kinds of amino acids, essential and non-essential. Essential amino acids are those that cannot be produced by our bodies and must be supplied through our diet. Non-essential amino acids, on the other hand, can be created by our bodies. Thus, it is important to carefully check whether we are getting an adequate amount of essential amino acids from our diet in order to sustain our health. Biomolecules play a pivotal role in sustaining life. Proteins, lipids, nucleic acids, and carbohydrates are involved in a plethora of fundamental activities all living organisms, ranging from single-celled bacteria to complex animals and plants, depend on. Notably, proteins are vital for the transportation of nutrients via cell membranes, for performing a variety of functions within cells, and for protecting against infectious organisms. Additionally, some proteins are hormones such as insulin, while others are enzymes that start biochemical reactions. All of these biomolecules work together to maintain our health and well-being. Proteins are complex molecules composed of amino acids and are essential for life. Examples of proteins in our body with different functions include collagen, trypsin, insulin, antibody, and receptor. Collagen forms the intercellular ground substance. Trypsin is an enzyme which helps break down proteins in the intestine. Insulin helps regulating sugar levels in our blood. Antibodies are our body's defense against infective agents, and receptors assure sensory reception such as smell, taste, hormones, and more. Grasping the different functions of proteins enables us to comprehend their vital role in our life. Collagen and rubisco are two essential proteins. Collagen is abundant in animals and is key in furnishing cells and tissues with structure and strength. Rubisco is the most numerous protein in the biosphere and indispensable when it comes to photosynthesis, allowing organisms to capture energy from the sun. Both of these proteins are indispensable for the sustainability of life, making them extremely important in the natural world. Polysaccharides are a type of macromolecule commonly present in different organisms. These are made of numerous sugar molecules connected to form structures such as starch, glycogen and cellulose. Polysaccharides play a variety of roles in the body, including supplying energy to the cells and helping build cell walls. They also have a great importance in the environment, as they are food and energy sources for numerous organisms. Knowing about polysaccharides is essential for researching the functions of living creatures. Biomolecules are fundamental to life. They form the structure and bring about the chemical processes that make life possible. This image shows polysaccharides of cellulose, with each molecule composed of glucose monosaccharides that create a lattice-like structure. This lattice is the foundation of our existence. Cellulose is a homopolymer composed of a single type of monomer and is fundamental for plant tissues, acting as a structural component and energy source. Starch and glycogen, likewise, are essential for animal life, supplying them with energy to sustain themselves. Biomolecules are a crucial part of all living organisms, performing several important functions. Polysaccharides are macromolecules made up of several monosaccharide units bonded together in a chain. They are one of the most common organic molecules found in organisms ranging from bacteria to plants and animals. The non-reducing end of the chain is positioned at the left end, while the reducing end is on the right. Inulin is a homopolymer of fructose and is categorized as a non-reducing sugar as it is not oxidized by mild oxidizing agents. The presence of fructose in its structure makes it highly resistant to oxidation. Biomolecules like starch and cellulose have a huge impact on the life processes of living organisms. Starch is a polysaccharide formed by the combination of glucose molecules that, when mixed with iodine molecules, forms a helical structure, creating a blue color. On the other hand, cellulose cannot form the same helical structures and doesn't not hold iodine the same way. Cotton fiber is made up of cellulose. Biomolecules like cellulose and polysaccharides act as the building blocks of plant cells. Cellulose, in particular, is a key component of cell walls. This basic compound has a number of applications from paper production to medication. It is integral to our everyday lives and aids in sustaining the productivity of the Earth's biosphere. Amino sugars are an important part of the bacterial cell wall, providing structural support and acting as a protective barrier. They also have an important role in cellular metabolism, as they are involved in the production of essential enzymes and molecules. Furthermore, they are involved in immune function, as they are essential for immune system activation. All in all, amino sugars are critical for bacteria's health and well-being. The slide indicates that the structures of heteropolymers and homopolymer biopolymers can be found in the cell walls of fungi and exoskeletons of arthropods, which are composed of chitin. The homopolysaccharide is formed of N-acetyl-glucosamine subunits. This material is both robust and light, which is paramount for the survival of such organisms. Proteins are an essential component of life on Earth, composed of linear sequences of amino acids. These amino acids are connected by 4 distinct types of bonds: hydrogen, glycosidic, peptide, and ionic bonds. Each bond has distinct characteristics which enable proteins to fold into precise shapes and composition, rendering them functionally versatile. GLUT4 plays a vital role in our physiology as a hormone, enzyme, and facilitator of glucose transport into cells. Furthermore, it provides a structural and functional base for efficient cellular processes by acting as an intercellular ground substance. In essence, GLUT4 is an essential link between cells and the external environment. Polysaccharides are formed by a chain of monosaccharides which can range from 3 to 24 or more sugar units. Different polysaccharides have distinct roles, including providing structural support and acting as energy storage. Cellulose, found in plant cell walls, is a common example, as well as glycogen seen as the storage form of glucose in animals. Polymers of fructose are composed of long chains of sugar molecules, and two potential forms of this are insulin and inulin. Insulin is a hormone produced by the pancreas to manage the sugar levels in the body, while inulin is a starchy carbohydrate present in some plants. Thus, both insulin and inulin can be categorized as polymers of fructose molecules. Nucleic acids and proteins are two of the most essential biomolecules in the human body. Both are composed of building blocks known as nucleotides and amino acids respectively. Nucleotides form the backbone of DNA and RNA, which carry genetic information. Amino acids serve as the building blocks of proteins, performing a range of critical functions in the body. Proteins also contribute to the structure of cells and tissues, supplying much of the body's strength and resilience. Knowledge of the structure of these biomolecules is vital to comprehending how the body works and functions. Nucleic acids are vital macromolecules found in all living tissue. They are composed of polynucleotides, made up of a phosphate group, a sugar and a nitrogen base. The two most important nucleic acids are deoxyribonucleic acid, DNA, and ribonucleic acid, RNA. The difference between them is the sugar component and the number of strands in the molecule, with DNA being double-stranded and RNA being single-stranded. Nucleic acids are essential as they are the fundamental building blocks of cells and stores genetic information. Biomolecules are essential for the functioning of all living organisms, the most important being nucleotides. These are composed of a heterocyclic compound, a phosphoric acid or phosphate, and a monosaccharide compound. The heterocyclic compounds are nitrogenous bases, namely adenine, guanine, uracil, cytosine and thymine. Additionally, there are substituted purines and pyrimidines which are important in the structure and activity of nucleic acids. All these components are indispensable for the correct functioning of all life forms. Biomolecules are the essential elements of life, and one of the major types of these molecules are monosaccharides. Monosaccharides are part of polynucleotides made of ribose or deoxyribose. These sugars are essential components of DNA and RNA and absolutely necessary for us and all living things to exist. Biomolecules are essential for the construction of living organisms. Phosphoric acid, also referred to as phosphate, is a widespread type of biochemical compound commonly present in proteins and organisms. It plays a significant role in human metabolism as well as it is found in various food sources. It consists of a phosphorus atom connected to 4 oxygen atoms and a hydrogen atom, making it one of the major compounds helping maintain the solidity of living organisms. Additionally, its aptitude to bind to other molecules further magnifies its importance in cell metabolism. Proteins are essential for life, and an in-depth knowledge of their structure is essential to comprehending their functions. Proteins are made up of strings of amino acids, which are molecules that give proteins their properties. Grasping the structure of proteins in various contexts, like inorganic chemistry, is beneficial to understand their use and potential in various applications. Knowing the structure of sodium chloride, magnesium chloride, and other molecules can broaden our understanding of their use in certain aspects. By getting a thorough knowledge of proteins and their structure, we can investigate the potential of new usages. Biomolecules are essential for life to exist and function. Organic and physical chemists employ 2- and 3-dimensional representations of molecules to study their properties, while biologists observe the complex protein structures at 4 levels. This understanding of the fundamental components that compose life equips us with the insight to make more meaningful discoveries. Biomolecules are integral to all living organisms, with proteins being particularly important in determining a protein's structure and function. The primary structure of a protein, consisting of the sequence and arrangement of its amino acids, determines its physical shape. This dictates how the protein folds and, consequently, its functional properties. The primary structure of a protein is exhibited in the image by the setup of its amino acids. This uniqueness and importance of proteins is what makes them central to biochemistry. Proteins are biomolecules that form the building blocks of life. Consisting of amino acid chains, proteins have a N-terminal, starting point, and C-terminal, endpoint, with the chain in between. Instead of simply existing as a long straight line, proteins fold into a helix resembling a helical staircase. It is this structure that allows proteins to carry out their specific and crucial functions in living organisms. Proteins are highly complex structures, despite that they are composed of just 20 types of amino acids. Not all components of the protein's thread possess helical form, other structural arrangements can be observed. When folded, proteins develop a secondary structure, consisting of alpha helices and beta sheets, that is stabilized by hydrogen bonding between the respective functional groups of the amino acids. The tertiary structure describes the whole three-dimensional shape of the protein molecule, which is further refined in the quaternary structure, concerning the assembly of individual proteins in the complex. Proteins that provide our bodies with essential molecular building blocks are composed of four hierarchical levels of structure: primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary. The primary structure is the long protein chain whose folding upon itself leads to the creation of a three-dimensional tertiary structure. The quaternary structure is the final assembly of proteins into complex structures. Tertiary structure is essential for proteins to perform their many biological activities. Proteins are biomolecules that play an essential role in the life of all organisms. They consist of peptide chains, which can consist of either one or multiple units. The quaternary structure of proteins refers to the way these chains or subunits are arranged to form the protein molecule. This structure can influence the shape and function of the protein, and can take various forms such as linear strings of spheres, spheres arranged in a cube, or plates. It is this quaternary structure that makes proteins so amazing. Hemoglobin is a protein found in red blood cells. It has a quaternary structure of four subunits, two of which are identical, with one alpha and one beta type. This quaternary structure is essential for its functioning, enabling it to bind and release oxygen as it moves through the body. Heterocyclic compounds are essential for nucleic acids. They are composed of atoms arranged in a ring structure, and there are two main types used to form the backbone of DNA and RNA. The first is ribose, a 5-carbon sugar, and the second is deoxyribose, which has one less oxygen atom than ribose. These compounds are then altered with nitrogen-containing bases, such as alanine or purine, to provide a structure for the genetic sequences. The answer to the question is that the last amino acid in a protein thread is referred to as the C-terminal amino acid. This term denotes the amino acid that is farthest from the N-terminus, located at the right end of the polypeptide chain. Biomolecules, like proteins, are intricate molecules found in living beings. They comprise of 4 layers of organization: primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary structures. The tertiary composition of a protein grants it its 3-dimensional stance and holds the key to its functioning. This insight is necessary for comprehending biological processes at the molecular level. Hemoglobin, abbreviated as HB, is an essential oxygen-binding protein found in red blood cells. It helps to transport oxygen throughout the body by binding to oxygen molecules. Hemoglobin is a polypeptide composed of 2 alpha chains and 2 beta chains. Therefore, the correct answer to the question is option 1, 2 and 2.